Anderman, and this is my daughter,
Sabine Kale.
Sabine Kale. And tell them how old you are.
I'm 8.
And I'm older than she is. And we collaborated on this project together. We collaborated on these two. We're actually surrounded by our paintings that we collaborated on together. Great. I got asked a few months ago to do this show, and I kept trying to think what I wanted to do, who I wanted to collaborate with. And one morning I was walking in my house, and I have a painting up that I did in 2010. And it was just after she was born, and it's a painting of me pregnant, and I'm looking very greenish gray, and I'm pregnant, and the baby inside is glowing, but it's like a head that's sort of disjointed from the body, and it's me being pregnant and being nauseous the whole time when I was pregnant. And I thought, well, how interesting would that be if we sort of revisited that work, but with the two of us, and now she's out of my body, and we just collaborated together on a painting, and sort of used that as the inspiration. And so this was the first piece that we worked on together, which was sort of me in the same position as the original painting, but with her adding all of her sort of additions to it. And so that's what I decided to do. I decided to ask her if she wanted to collaborate with me on this project, and we did. We started, the next maybe a week after that or something, working in the studio, drawing, and then painting, and it sort of expanded, and we started doing a few paintings, and we started doing some small drawings together. We did some drawings together. Yep. Yeah. There's some of this stuff. So then we started working together, and just to describe the process, I gave her a blank sheet, and you just added, I said draw on the sheet, and so she started putting drawings in, and you can see some of hers still peeking through, and then I would do some drawing on it, and then she got to paint on it, and then I got to paint on it, and then she went back in and would draw, and then I would go back in and draw, and so we just collaborated back and forth until we got to the final project.
Well, it was fun because I don't really ever get to work in the studio with her, and I never really get to work on huge pieces of paper. And yeah, it was fun. I just drew and paint with all of the colors. Yeah, I just did whatever came to my mind.
But you knew the theme, right? Like we discussed, you and I, that we were going to sort of do mother-daughter works, and that she knew the painting that's hanging in our house, and so we knew from the beginning that it was sort of a mother-daughter sort of theme, and but that I told her that she's free to do whatever comes to her, because I wanted her to be able to just draw and create from her heart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the pencil are Prismacolors, and I just love Prismacolors. I have for years been working with those. They're really soft, and the colors they have 1,000 colors. And so we started with Prismacolors, and then I also love to start with charcoal as well. So I use various charcoal pencils, and she could use them too, but I don't think she used them much. She mostly used the Prismacolors. And then I work in acrylic, and I use some mediums as well. And so there's some of the mediums that I use either extend the paint or add a grit to it. I just found a new acrylic that it's a golden acrylic that it's matte, and it adds this fine grit so that you can draw on top of it, which is great, because a lot of times with acrylic you get to a point where it gets so slick that you can't really add charcoal or pencil to it. This I can, and I love it. And then I also have been using lately spray paint. And so I've been using, and that's where you'll see you can see some spray paint and I'll use lace and put that down, and I have other different kinds of stencils and things, but for this project I used a lot of lace because somehow that was just coming to me, and a lot in these, my mother was coming through as well. My mom just passed 2 years ago, and I could feel like my grandmother, my mother, and Sabine, so it was like this mother-daughter thing, but it felt generational to me. And so lace, there's something about lace that just feels very 1900s, and or it just felt very grandmotherly or motherly. So I used a lot of lace in both of the pieces. You can see the lace in the backgrounds, and then this I feel like is the daughter piece, and this I feel like wound up being the mother piece, and I gave them both these lace collars in the end. But those both started out as Sabine's idea. She is the one. Do you remember that you started with lace around her collar? When you were doing this, you put lace around the collar, and I just continued with it and finished the lace there. But that was all your idea, and I thought, oh, that's so great, because it felt, my grandmother used to wear these high, lace, or my great-grandmother, I see in pictures, wearing these high lace collars, and so that's what this is, this high lace collar. There was an old picture of my great-grandmother, Sophie, and it's the only photograph that we have of her, and she's wearing this high lace collar. It's beautiful. So I came back in there. See there?
Yeah, well, I see their feet and her face, and she has sunglasses on. And I see the whole painting.
To describe this, Sabine, you said you put this in there. What was that? No, yes. I love that you put that in there. What was that about?
Oh, my Mama and Pop-Ups.
Mama and Pop-Up are her grandma and grandpa.
I saw this painting and it said no, yes all over it. And then I just wrote it up there.
Who did that painting, the no, yes painting?
You.
Yeah. So she was bringing in one of my I didn't realize that, but she brought in one of my. And then this, we finished, she put this in around Halloween, right?
Wait.
And this was sort of, I think I put that part in.
You put the ears and then the sunglasses on.
Well, it was more like a mask, because for Halloween, what were you for Halloween?
Kitty cat.
A kitty cat. So that got put in there as well.
Oh, and it says me right there.
Yeah. I put the words in, the me, and this one also says, this one underneath it says mother, me, and this one says daughter, me. And I don't know, for both pieces, I just felt like, yes, this is the daughter, this is the mother, but aren't we, like, we're all mother, daughter, mother, daughter, mother, daughter, and then, then we become the grandmother, and then we pass on, but it felt like they were both me, and that this will eventually be her, and this will eventually be her daughter, and so I really felt that generational thing. And in this, she had put both eyes closed, and she had done both eyes with the, you could see the lashes and they were closed, and I wound up opening one eye because that just felt to me like they're definitely at this age in like a dream state, so the eyes closed and they're just, in fantasy, but also the eye open because just so alert and aware and part of this world, so sort of halfway in between. So I felt like that would really sort of capture that. Yeah. So this part here, I have a line coming from her mouth all the way down through to the belly. And in the original piece, I also had that, and it was sort of this connection of the, me coming through the belly, but there's also the breath. And I feel like that, in Hawaii, the aloha and the breath and giving life through the breath. And that's in so many traditions, I feel like, that life is given through the breath. And so just that connection somehow keeps coming through a lot of my paintings, to connect, her with me and that cycle, just our connection that we have. Yeah. And then other things you know, like I put masks on both of them. That's like a huge theme that I have going through a lot of my work, and it's just sort of the masks that we wear all the time in life, that we're constantly, you know, sort of behind masks. And in childhood, that isn't, you know, happening. Probably why I just did like a half of a mask here, you know, because in you know, we're just developing those masks that we wear around all the time. But also, like, you know, sort of that mystery and, you know, the space between waking and dreaming, and, you know, figuring out sort of what reality is.
Yeah. Oh, my favorite part is the cat ears.
Why?
'Cause I love cats.
And what's your favorite thing about this piece?
My favorite thing about this piece, I like her mask. It's
Why?
cool. Because it's all blue, and it's pretty, and I like it. Yeah. I like working with my mom because it was fun, and we could use all of the colors and stuff, and like all different sizes of paper and stuff like that. Yeah, it was fun.
And anything else? Did it make you draw in any, I don't even know the answer to this, but do you feel like you drew differently because you were drawing with me? Or do you feel like you were drawing the same that you always draw?
I don't really know. I drew kind of differently.
Yeah?
Kinda.
Well, I can tell you that for me, it was really magical drawing and collaborating with Sabine. Getting lost in the work over there. It was just so great because, you know, I always have this quote in my head. Picasso once said that it took him a lifetime to learn to draw like a child. And for me, collaborating with somebody, like for the past, you know, 5 years, ever since she could pick up a crayon, I've watched her and looked at her pieces and just thought, oh, that's brilliant, because she just has so far, no filter, you know, and I know that starts to come in when kids get to be 10, 11, 12, and right now she's really just, you know, she would put something down here, and it didn't matter if it was the same color or size or in perspective, and there's something about that is just so literally unique to her. And nobody else could paint like that. And so then to be able to collaborate with her and have her work, I let her start both of the pieces, and then I would let her put her stuff in, and then I was learning from it. Like, oh yeah, don't be so tight. Allow it to, you know, use a different medium in there. Like, and her painting that she did in here, this green and this purple, I couldn't even touch it because it was so perfect. The way that she did it, perfect in its imperfection. And so for me, I feel like I just learned so much being able to, I definitely want to collaborate with this one more, especially soon, because I know that sometimes that starts to sort of disappear as we get older, and then we have to try and re-find it. So that could take lifetimes.
I think I want to be an artist when I grow up.
You do?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.